everyone, this is John Brobuscus, and welcome back to another Let's Watch of Death Battle. Today's episode is Nightwing versus Daredevil. I'm really looking forward to this one, although my tone may or may not express this. It's been a long day. To be honest, I've been considering whether or not I should actually do this, but I got my setup, and it would be disappointing if I just did another reaction and to just stop again. Plus, this is the 99th episode. Episode 100 is up next, and I'm very much looking forward to finding out what it is. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Nightwing versus Daredevil. Let me take these off real quick because it's weird hearing me through earbuds because it makes me sound muffled. Anyways, I'm also going to be a little quiet. Villain is literally right behind that wall, and I don't know what she's doing. Mom and Dad are downstairs. Again, don't really know what they're doing. And at any point, Dad could probably be in there because that's his office. Right there. But anyways, also side note, real quick, I've been looking at my screen because I have QuickTime, which is what I use to record, and Safari, which is just my internet browser. This thumbnail is super freaking clean. I love it so much. Anyways, sorry, I got distracted. So, who do I want to win? I'm gonna get right into the point because I kind of went in depth, a little bit more in depth last time with my Optimus versus Gundam reaction. Although I did it at the end because, you know, why would I do it in the beginning even though I knew it was happening? So some people probably haven't actually watched all the way through, which is totally understandable. The endings of reaction videos sometimes aren't really that interesting. Anyways, yeah, basically to sum it up, because I want to get this done as fast as possible, I'm rooting for Daredevil, even though I don't really prefer one over the other. I'm kind of just rooting for him because A, I'm more of a Marvel guy than a DC guy, and B, aside from like exceptions like every once in a while, Marvel has kind of been going downhill a lot. As in, like, they lose a lot. Like this season they had Black Panther, so that's something. Season 4 they had Venom, which again is something. And then back in season 3 they didn't have a win, but they had a tie in Deadpool. And then season 2 they had a bunch. They had Deadpool, Iron Man, Doctor Doom, and Hawkeye. If I'm missing one, please let me know. And then in season 1 they were basically unbeatable. Every matchup they were in, they won. Rogue, Thor, Spider-Man, all that stuff. But they've been losing a lot more often lately. Some of them perfectly understandable. Flash vs. Quicksilver, Hulk vs. Doomsday, Doctor Strange vs. Doctor Fate. They're super understandable why the Marvel character lost there. Then you get stuff like Batman Beyond versus Spider-Man 2099, or Captain Marvel versus Android 18, where it's just like, what? And then you get Carnage versus Lucy, where it's like, I don't know, like that kind of thing, where it's like, I don't entirely disagree, but at the same time I don't entirely know, but whatever. I'd rather not cross that bridge actually now that I think about it, because wow, the debate for that one was a nightmare. Oh, Safari just quit on me. This is okay. This is annoying. Safari just up and quit on me. Where you at? This is annoying. Screw it. Yeah, while I'm doing it. While I'm recording here. That was weird. Don't ask, don't know. But anyways, so while this is happening, so yeah, I'm rooting for Daredevil because I'm more of a Marvel guy, and I think Marvel is kind of due a win at this point. And I think Daredevil should win this one. I feel like he's pretty much physically better than Nightwing, while also having the radar sense, which I've learned that apparently Stan Lee himself, the guy who creates like 90% of the characters in Marvel, has said that Daredevil's radar sense, like basically what he uses to see things since he's kind of blind, is apparently better than Spider-Man's spider sense. And if you know anything about that thing, wow. This matchup actually kind of reminds me a little bit of Batman versus Spider-Man, if I'm being honest with myself here. It's just that Nightwing, as good as he is, he's no Batman. He's no Batman. Never really aimed to be better than Batman, at least as far as I'm aware. He aimed to be better in terms of personality anyway, but skill? Nah, I don't know. I mean, he's definitely got quicker reactions than Batman, which both, I think both Batman and Catwoman have admitted this. But regardless, anyways, meanwhile, Daredevil's actually fought Spider-Man, now that I think about it. Daredevil, whatever. I'm gonna get this done as quickly as possible. So I think Nightwing's gonna win. I think Daredevil's gonna win, and I want him to win. If Nightwing wins, I'll have to see, because the one thing that people argue when they argue for Nightwing, and something that really bugs me, is they say that that Daredevil's blind and he has heightened senses, and Nightwing has sound stuff. So sound will obviously be what takes Daredevil out, right? No, because Daredevil consistently fights with Ulysses Claw, and if you don't know who that is, basically he has a bunch of sound guns, sound blasts, whatever. They fight quite a lot, and Daredevil has pretty much shown that sound doesn't really affect him as much. It's still an issue, but it's not like it's not his kryptonite or anything. And even then, I just don't, even if it was that bad of a weakness, I just don't think Nightwing has the strength to take Daredevil out, if I'm going to be honest. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I don't buy the sound thing. That's basically it. If Nightwing wins outside of that, fine, whatever. But if they base their verdict on Nightwing has sound equipment, and he can overload Daredevil's senses, which I guess he probably could, but I don't see how that would give him a win per se. Just kind of incapacitate Daredevil for a bit. But Daredevil will be like, okay, I'm good. Let's keep going. Yeah, so I don't really have a preference one way or the other. Like, if I was more of a DC guy, I would probably be rooting for Nightwing, just to give you an idea. I'm rooting for Daredevil because I like Marvel more than DC. Love DC, but I like Marvel more. I do like Nightwing. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. So if Nightwing wins, I'm not going to be like sad or anything. I do prefer Daredevil, so obviously my preferred character will lose if Daredevil doesn't win. But if Daredevil does win, I'm going to be kind of happy because I'm getting wins back, even though Carnage lost and before that Doctor Strange lost. Whatever. I'm just kind of hoping that this season's my record for the season isn't as bad as it was last season. Last season was pretty bad. Actually, thinking about it. So last season for me was 6 wins, 10 losses. I focus my wins off of my win-loss record off of wins and losses in terms of personal preference. My predictions record last season was fantastic. only getting 4 wrong, and even then I still kind of think those 4 are I still think those 4 are... I have not been convinced on those 4. I still think... I don't agree with the results, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But with this one... So, okay, so we had Black Panther, Raven... It was kind of neutral in Jotaro versus Kenshiro. I count neutral battles as wins, so I'm just gonna go with that. Crash vs. Spyro, same thing, neutral, so I'm gonna count it. Ryu, Samurai Jack, and Optimus. That's 8 so far, so that's 8, right? No, 7. It'll be 8 if Daredevil wins. And then my preferred characters lost the rest of them. And I don't think Ryu should have won, even though I was rooting for him. But he did win, so whatever. Anyways, I've been dragging this on for more than 10 minutes. So, with all of that said, I'm just going to get straight into it. First live action battle, baby. Let's do it. Hang on. These things are on, right? I'm going to be cutting this out, I think. And I'm going to turn them off. Maybe if I disconnect them to my phone. Oh! There we go. Nope, never mind. We're good. Alright. And go. I wish I could do full screen.
In a world where superhumans can fly through the sky or lift buildings over their head, it takes a lot more than a pair of tights for a mere mortal to stand out from the crowd.
But these guys have it covered.
Nightwing, the original protege of Batman.
And Daredevil, Marvel's man without fear. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
This is gonna be good.
In modern times, the questionable whimsies of the circus are all but dead.
And good riddance, because the world doesn't need any more clowns.
Yet in its heyday, few performances could top the trapeze mastery of the Flying Graysons.
Well, until a mobster cut their cord on life short. Literally.
But they had a son, young yet just as talented as them. Orphaned and alone, all seemed hopeless for Dick Grayson.
Until
he is
scored
unfortunately
the coolest
named
foster dad in the friggin' universe, the goddamn Batman.
And under the Cape Crusader, Dick wasn't just a son, he was a sidekick, a superhero. He was Robin. Until he wasn't.
You got knocked the out, man!
Robin spent many years kicking bad guys around the back alleys of Gotham City with his new dad. Who could forget the time he crushed Blockbuster under a truck, or when he whipped out that shark repellent? Never leave home without it, kids.
But then Batman suddenly realized, you know what? Bringing kids into battle is actually a bad idea. So he fired him.
I wonder what gave him
and
that
then
idea.
promptly forgot this little revelation.
Holy time to update the resume, Batman. Probably for the best, though. I mean, come on. The kid didn't even have a proper pair of pants. What's your problem, Bruce?
Batman.
Whoa! The mouth on this one.
Actually,
I've been seeing
it
Titans
was for the
trailer,
best, though not in the way Batman
and I had
hoped.
no intention
Inspired by a story of an ancient Kryptonian superhero, Dick took to the streets by himself with a brand new uniform and a brand new name.
I have seen Nightwing the
From
series,
then on,
though.
he would be known as Nightwing.
Really good. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's really good.
Gotta hand it to Bats. He sure knows how to mold a kid into a criminal-crushing machine. With expertise in taekwondo, ninjutsu, aikido, and a bunch of other styles, Nightwing is one of the finest martial artists in comic book history.
No doubt helped by his world-class acrobatic skills. He is one of only 3 people on Earth who are capable of performing a quadruple flip.
And between the fancy schooling he got at Hudson U and being a founding member of the Teen Titans, he's got brains and brawn. Plus a whole lot of weapons.
Nightwing's suit is lightweight, bulletproof, and makes virtually no sound when moving. The blue colors even turn black while in the dark. His mask features a holographic UI, complete with night vision and a spectral analyzer.
He's rocking utility belts on his wrists and ankles.
Basically,
full
he's
of
good at
lockpicks,
stealth.
smoke pellets, and staples that are so strong they can support the weight of a freaking helicopter.
He also carries a rebreather, grapple gun, and wingdings.
That weird alien font with all the shapes? Oh, I'll figure out your secret one day, Wingdings.
No, more like the batarangs or thrown shurikens. The standard wingdings are extremely sharp, but he also carries dulled, ultrasonic, and explosive variants.
But let's get to the good stuff, like his 2 screaming sticks
Eskrima sticks.
that are great for beating the shit out of people. And they'll be pretty shocked when they find out Nightwing has wired them with 50,000 volt tasers.
Despite their falling out, Nightwing clearly remains inspired by the gadgets and skills of his baddie mentor, and he's put them to good use.
He's strong enough to punch people through solid walls and smash through a sheet of ice from underwater and hold back the 19,000 pounds per square inch bite force of an orca.
And while breaking a car window doesn't
Oh, yeah, he
sound
was Batman at
impressive,
one point.
Nightwing's done so while the car was underwater and therefore pressurized. To pull this off, he needed to impact the glass with over 24,000 pounds per square inch.
He's quick enough to dodge point-blank gunfire, skilled enough to leap through the city while blindfolded, and tough enough to survive falling off a building.
Generally, any unsafe landing over 21 feet
Ow.
is guaranteed to break bone.
And Nightwing dropped 140 feet onto his butt, and he was fine. And we've all fallen on our tailbone. That shit sucks.
At
I
one
mean, yeah,
point,
it
Nightwing
does.
spent 96 hours patrolling city streets looking for the criminal mastermind Two-Face, and an additional 5 or more hours collecting evidence. A 2010 study on sleep deprivation noted that 72 hours without sleep leads to a number of
Ow.
horrendous side effects, including
My
hallucinations.
earbuds kind of
But when it was time
freaked
to
out
leap
there.
between blimps hundreds of feet in the air and give Two-Face the beatdown he deserved, you couldn't even tell Nightwing was in desperate need of a nap. And don't forget, he was trained by the #1 detective in the world. He's good enough to solve a kidnapping with
One of
a
the
single look
funny
at the
arguments I
scene of a
hate when
crime.
going in.
Even more
with
impressive,
Batman
he once
characters, like,
performed
hey,
a
he's-
skydive at 930
He's
miles per
just
hour,
as good
which took
as,
all of
if not
15
better than,
minutes.
Batman in
That
terms of
puts his
martial
starting
arts.
position around
I mean, okay, cool,
25
but-
miles high and free-falling faster than the speed of sound. For reference, real-life Austrian athlete Felix Baumgartner performed a similar great leap from 24 miles up, hitting a maximum speed over 800 miles per hour. To pull this off, he needed a specialized suit to protect him from the extreme cold, unfiltered sunlight, and lack of oxygen. One mistaken movement could have put him into a rapid spin, rendering him unconscious and causing his blood to boil.
And Nightwing just did it without any of that. Damn.
He's certainly tough, but he's had his fair share of losses. His scarred body is proof of that.
And eventually, him and Bats finally made up. He even took up the cowl himself when Batman was out for a while. Nightwing is one superhero who will always come out on top, along with his partners, Jim and Juan.
What?
I mean, it's right here in the intern's notes. Who's Jim and Juan?
Oh, that's the names these ladies gave his butt cheeks.
Oh, well,
Oh,
guess
okay.
you can't argue with the ass on that dick.
Robin?
That was
I haven't used that name in a long time. Call me Nightwing.
Before he became the man without fear, Matthew Murdock was the son of a professional boxer named Battling Jack.
Sounds like a badass, but Jack actually boxed because it was the only thing he was good at, and he needed money to get his kid through school so that little Matt would have a better life than he did. Oh, what a good dad. He's punching people for his kid.
Matt still trained in
yeah.
secret with his father's exercise equipment, molding himself into a powerful fighter and an expert acrobat. This new athletic ability would come in handy when he witnessed a blind man walking right in front of a speeding truck.
Feeling especially heroic that day, Matt dove in to push the guy to safety, but the truck crashed, sending some weird acid stuff flying all over Matt's face.
From that day forward, Matt was permanently blind.
I can't see! I can't see!
Still, Matt did not
Poor
give
guy.
up on the dream his father wanted. He earned his degree with flying colors and founded a law firm with his friend Foggy Nelson. Things were actually looking up for him.
Well, except for when his dad was killed by a mobster for ruining a rigged boxing match. Because you can't be a superhero unless you've lost your parents.
Matt was distraught. His world had come crashing down around him, and he couldn't even see it happen. But he could hear it, smell it, feel it.
Yeah, 'cause turns out that radioactive goop didn't just blind Matt, it gave him superpowers. So he dressed up like the devil himself and literally scared the mobster to death.
And so, Daredevil was born. Many blind people, particularly those born
I've
with
seen
it,
like the first
experience a
4
rewriting
episodes
the
of
brain to heighten their other
the
senses,
Daredevil
somewhat
Netflix
making
show,
up
and I
for
just
their
couldn't
lack
get
of
into
sight.
it. Maybe I'll give it another
Something
shot
similar
later.
happened to Daredevil,
But-
except like 100 times greater.
His touch became so sensitive, he can tell when a person is close to him simply from the disturbance in the air. His ears can pick up the faintest of sounds, from the slightest movement of an enemy to the rising heartbeat of someone who's lying. His taste can detect each separate ingredient in any recipe, including poisons, and his nose can track you down like a bloodhound.
Who needs eyes when you can sense everything around you to the smallest detail? But
I was about
he
to
couldn't
say
use his blind
he's not
powers
wrong,
as well as
but
he
that
does
would imply
without
that
the
I would like
training
to lose
under
my
a super
eyesight
secret
for stuff
warrior
like that.
named Stick.
But getting
No
stuff like that is
relation.
kind of
With
impossible.
Stick's help, Matt mastered several fighting styles, including ninjutsu, Krav Maga, and Kung Fu.
And get this, Stick had basically the same blind powers as Daredevil.
Whoa. Silk sheets.
Thanks to him, Matt learned how to hone his senses, to know and maneuver through his surroundings even better than those with working eyes. He also learned how to tap into something called an
Echolocation.
atom-induced radar sense.
Like that thing that bats do when they bounce sound around to see in the dark or whatever.
Sort of. That's sonar, or echolocation, and he can use it too. But thanks to his radioactive origins, Daredevil can actually emit electromagnetic energy waves from his body, which bounce off objects in his
In
vicinity,
some ways, the radar
painting
sense
a
is similar
picture
to
of his
Spider-Man's spider
surroundings in
sense.
his head. This means he doesn't even need sound to find and take down an opponent.
So he's got a ton of ways to make up for his eye problem, but he's also got some awesome gear to help him take out the bad guys. Like his devil suit that's bulletproof, shockproof, flameproof, and a perfect backup plan whenever he forgets to prep for a Halloween party.
I mean, okay.
For combat, he built a versatile weapon out of his most innocuous possession, a walking cane.
By day, he's a feeble blind man slowly tapping across the road. But by night, he whips out the horns and snaps his cane into a high-tech billy club.
The club houses a cable, hidden blades, a recording device, and exploding pellets.
It can even turn into a boomerang. Man, where do I get one of these? You don't have to be blind, right?
No, but you shouldn't. You already destroy everything without a super club.
Well, I'd need to practice to throw it as well as he does. You know how Captain America tosses his shield all
Yep.
over the place and it always seems to come back to him? Well, Daredevil does the exact same thing. And he can throw it hard enough to bust concrete. He's super strong. He can lift a 400-pound barbell and chuck it as casually as when I toss a beer away if it's time for a new one.
He's quick enough to deflect bullets with his billy club and skilled enough to bounce one back so it killed the man who fired it in the first place.
Bet that guy wasn't expecting that. It looks like he's firing a Glock, which has a muzzle speed of about 1,200 feet per second.
At just 20 feet away, Daredevil had to react within 17 milliseconds to avoid getting hit. And while he couldn't survive a shot to the head, he's powered through a heck of a lot when compared to the average human.
He's survived zaps from Electro, whose power can burn through metal. He's fallen multiple stories and walked away, powered through a napalm explosion, and been hit by a 5-foot bar swung by the Ox, who can tear through metal cages and lift more than 800 pounds.
His keen control over his nervous system has also helped him resist tranquilizers and toxins, but his super senses are also his biggest weakness.
They may give him way more field awareness than most anybody else, but if his opponent knows how his powers work, they can overload his senses with an extremely loud noise or a really bad smell. Like if you had a truckload of screaming skunks you could throw at him. That'd probably work, right?
But even with those weaknesses, Daredevil is a fearsome foe for anyone who would face him, even if he can't see them.
He even managed to balance his life of law and the crime fighting, and became a huge success on his own. Papa Boxer would be proud.
I'm gonna kill you! Take your shot.
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But
There we
first,
go.
you need to treat your
I have seen the preview on Death Metal Cast. It's something I always see the previews, so. I couldn't stop watching the preview for this one. It was really good. I'm really looking forward to this.
I know you're there. You can leave now, or I can drag you out. It's your choice.
Ooh, I'm shaking in my boots. Especially looking at the Prince of Darkness.
Danny Shepard is an
that
amazing
case over there is
Nightwing,
part of
by
an
the way.
investigation I've been working, so why don't you hand it over, and I'll get out of your horns. Is that a no then?
I forgot to mention, I don't think Nightwing's stealth is going to do much of anything here. I just think Daredevil's radar sense can track him down. And here comes the... Yep, here's where the preview ends. I like this. I like that. Daredevil's showing off. Okay. Alright. You're good, right, Daredevil? Yep, okay.
What are you? Better.
Electric proof. I like this. This is nice. I think if we stick, if live action battles stick with like more human-esque characters like Nightwing and Daredevil here, I think we'll be fine. Just nothing super flashy. Oh! Ow.
I wish I could see the look on your face.
Me too.
Oh. What the heck? What though? Oh, well.
See you in hell.
Since when did Nightwing get like a shocky glove thing?
Was that live action? We can do that now?
This was possibly one of our closest matchups to date. Despite lacking a true superhuman physique, both Nightwing and Daredevil were extremely skilled and deadly fighters.
When it came to overpowering each other, they were pretty dead even. Sure, based on their previous feats, we can tell that Nightwing seemed a little stronger and more acrobatic, and Daredevil seemed a little quicker to react.
But these differences were extremely minimal. It's actually feasible that these two could pull off almost all the exact same feats.
Keyword being almost.
Right, with such similar physical abilities, this really came down to their arsenal, Nightwing's gadgets and Daredevil's superpowers. At first glance, these could simply counter each other, making this match completely even again. For example, both could take advantage of the dark with night vision or super senses, but only one set was perfectly suited to actively disrupt the other.
Remember Nightwing's scanning mask? There's no way he couldn't notice those electro waves Daredevil's radar sense was sending everywhere. Even Mr. Magoo could have figured out something was weird here, let alone the guy trained by frickin' Batman. You know, the greatest detective in the world.
Through a little hand-to-hand action, Nightwing was
But he's
certainly
not
clever enough to
Batman.
recognize Daredevil's reliance to sound over sight, and had the perfect counterweapon. the ultrasonic wingding.
Look, I'm sure there were several possible scenarios where Daredevil could have pulled off the win, but more times than not, Nightwing takes this thanks to his athletic skill, detective training, and high-tech gadgets. All he had to do was dare to wing it.
The winner is Nightwing.
Oh, they're doing this? A classic match. With new rules. They're doing a... Oh no.
Let's go.
Wow.
Oh, this thing came off the camera when I was setting
Okay,
it
I
up.
knew about this.
Telling me every single time you've set up the camera, you've never taken the cap off? Hey, thanks for watching our 99th episode, and thanks to Ismahawk for that awesome live-action fight.
Plus, we've got a new t-shirt. Hey, if you guys want to pick one up, just click that Shop Now button right over there.
Oh boy. Okay, time to talk about this. I'm actually kind of scared right now. Are we okay? I think we're good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and talk as if it's we're good now. Okay, so well, results wise, I can't say that. Okay, so they said that Nightwing and Daredevil were pretty much dead even in the physical department, which while I think that Daredevil edges out quite a bit, I can definitely see... They did say that Nightwing and Daredevil could possibly accomplish the same feats as each other. That doesn't seem too far-fetched to me, so I'll give them that one. Nightwing does have better equipment. I did forget to mention that. I was mostly talking about Daredevil at the beginning of this, so I probably should have gone over what I think goes in favor of Nightwing. So he does have better weaponry, he does have better fighting skills, all that sort of stuff. So they're technically not wrong in the advantages that Nightwing has. And they could overload... The weapons he has could overload Daredevil's senses. Once again, kinda hard for me to argue against that. But what kills it for me is, like I said earlier, Daredevil has shown that his weakness to it's a similar type of sound weakness as Black Panther does, because the only difference is that in Black Panther's case, it's less of the sound and more of the vibrations. Because too much vibrations will overload his suit. It won't make his suit explode or anything, but it'll overload his suit and himself. It's kind of the same thing with Daredevil, except it doesn't do jack squat to his suit. But that's what kind of kills it for me, is that they pretty much went over how... that like I said earlier, they based their verdict on, hey, you have equipment that can generate sound waves. You are weak to sound waves. Guess who wins? It's kind of what this was based on. It's not solely it, but that's mostly what this was. So that's kind of what puts this one down for me in terms of the research department. Do I agree with the results? See, me personally, no. I still personally think that Daredevil wins. But I do understand the argument I do understand the arguments that can be made for Nightwing. I just don't think the sound thing is anything of significance. To me, what could give Nightwing the edge up is, it's less that he can overwhelm Daredevil's senses and more so just overwhelm himself, because Daredevil has a crap load of weapons and gear, but Nightwing has pretty much the exact same weapons and gear, except there's more variety to them, and he has more of them anyway. Like, they both have sticks that they fight each other with. The thing is, Nightwings can also turn into tasers, because that's a thing. And I don't think Daredevil has throwing stars or anything shaped like bats, or I guess in Nightwing's case birds, but whatever. So yeah, there's definitely a clear edge, and there's definitely a clear it's definitely really clear cut who has the more weapons and the more variety of said weapons, and that would be Nightwing. So I will give Screw Attack that. Also being a better fighter, because being trained by Batman will do that to you. Once again, kind of hard to argue, but being a better fighter does not necessarily mean that you get the edge up. So, and that's also kind of what's annoying about talking about people who were trained by Batman, is that, yeah, you were trained by Batman, so what? Like Nightwing here, he was trained by Batman, so yeah, he is the better fighter than Daredevil. But they say that as if Batman is like the greatest thing ever, and no, Batman has lost a lot of fights, even though he is a better fighter than the people he fights. I can't name anyone who's a better fighter than Batman at least in the DC universe. In other realms of fiction, there's several, but not in the DC universe. I can't name anyone who's a better fighter than Batman in DC. So, being trained by him will definitely make you a good fighter. So, again, that goes to Nightwing too, because Daredevil has good training, but that sort of training doesn't compare to being trained by Batman. But they kind of make that seem. But people who argue for Batman characters basically take that as Batman is like the best martial artist in the world, so he totally beats everyone he's put up against. No, that didn't save him at all against Black Panther, or Spider-Man. Heck, he's not even a better fighter than Black Panther. Black Panther knows every single martial art. Black Panther has mastered every single martial art that only a select handful know about. Meanwhile, Batman has learned every martial art in the world, but he's only mastered like 127, which is a lot, but not all of them. There's like 160 if I remember right. I can Google that, and maybe I'll Google that and put the number on screen. I don't know. So, and yes, some of those 127 are martial arts that only a select handful of people know about, but Black Panther has mastered every single martial art Batman has not. So, he just knows how to. Well, words are hard. He just knows how to fight with them all. But there's quite a few that he has not mastered. Will he master them? I mean, probably. Batman is a very overexposed character, so whatever could go wrong for other Justice League members could probably not happen to Batman, because that's just how it works. But anyway, so do I agree with the results? No. I still personally think Daredevil wins, but I definitely could see arguments made for Nightwing to win. Once again, I'm going to have to take these off because I sound muffled. From my point of view, anyway. I sound muffled and I sound tired. And I still sound tired even with the earbuds off. I'm not really tired, I'm just... Well, kind of tired. Anyways, whatever. But enough about that whole versus nonsense, because that's whatever. I don't agree, but I also won't say you got it wrong. Or I'm not salty. I'm not mad. I'm not like once. For some people, whenever me personally, okay, sorry about that. My recording has been corrupted. Well, not really corrupted because it's still here. It just got cut off because my computer basically cut itself down. But we're back now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and make this brief and wrap it up. So I don't know exactly where I left off. But I'm just gonna say Nightwing vs Daredevil. It was good. I liked it. I still think Daredevil wins myself, but I'm not gonna like freak out over this. But I like the live actionness of this. That was total English, by the way. Danny Shepard and Tyler Tackett did great jobs as both Nightwing and Daredevil, respectively. So kudos to them. I had an alarm go off. Give me a second, and there we go. So I like the fight, but I just don't really care for the results. Basically, it's another Ryu versus Jin, except it doesn't really agitate me as much as... I guess agitate isn't the right word to use. It makes me seem like I was really mad. I wasn't really that mad. There have been other results, regardless of how close they actually are, that have made me way saltier than this one could ever dream of doing. So I can't really say that I'm not mad. Like I said before, I'm not mad. I'm just not in the same boat. That's all. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It was a cool fight. Love the music. Love the actors. Choreography was great. Love how the fight played out, even though Daredevil lost. So yeah, not my favorite episode, middle in the season, but it was good. I liked it. It's one of those episodes it's there, it's good, I like it, and yes, it's not like I want to like forget that it exists, but it's no over the top high quality it's no Optimus versus Gundam. I'll just put it that way. It's no super high tier episode, but I like it. I am open to the idea of more live action fights, but my thing is that I really hope that they're like a once in a while thing. Like they're only done like once every 1 or 2 seasons, if that's alright. To kind of make those stand out a bit more, to be honest. But yeah, so I can't really say more about it. Maybe a few rewatches will make me like it more, but this is my first thoughts. I don't not like it, but it's not my favorite, and it's not one that I can genuinely talk about without whatever. Like it's not a standout one for me, but I like it a lot. Kind of like Carnage versus Lucy, except better. Not by a lot, but by a little bit. I didn't really care for Carnage vs. Lucy, but not that it was bad, it's just not for me. It's kind of the same thing with this one, actually. It's not one that sticks out to me, but I like it. It's good. But yeah, so that's that. Now we got another rematch for the big episode 100. Okay, so this is not what I thought was going to be episode 100. I was thinking it was either going to be Mickey versus Bugs or Galactus versus Unicron. To explain why, would talk about the animation behind it, and if people did not pay attention to RTX, I kind of want to keep things a little bit of a surprise to them. But yeah, this is not the episode this is not the matchup that I thought was going to be episode 100, but I'm open to it. I'm not super hyped for it, but I'm not going to like shoot it down on the spot. So we'll just have to see how it goes. I kind of don't want to say who I want to win and who I think is going to win, because this is one of those matchups that just kind of sparks a fan war regardless of what you go with. But I'm gonna take a risk. I keep getting these warnings about applications that I'm using. Applications. It makes it seem like I'm applying for a job. Anyways, where am I going with this conversation? So I'm going to take a risk. Now, I like both of these guys. So, but my answer to who I want to win and who I think is going to win, or at least who I think should win, are the exact opposite. So, fandoms of these two characters, please don't come to me to want to rip my throat out. Alright? Opinions are opinions. If someone has a different opinion from you, that's fine. The problem is that you're probably just one of those guys that just lives on the internet and thinks that if someone has a different opinion than you, then they're wrong. If you're one of those people, screw you. Little PSA there. So okay, I'm just gonna get this out of the way, because yeah, this one's a big one. But I'm not really looking forward. Okay, I am looking forward to it, but I'm not really like hyped for it. I'm open to it existing, but I'm not like gonna bounce on the roof, like bounce up and down in my room or anything. I'm not that excited. So it's kind of a letdown to have a rematch as episode 100. I'm assuming it's a rematch, not a remaster like Boba Fett versus Samus was. Or at least something like in the middle, like kind of like a rematch and a remaking. I don't know. It's something along those lines. Okay, so I'm delaying the inevitable. Okay, so these two fandoms are not exactly the most I don't know how to put it into perspective. Because okay, so it's more true with the Sonic fan base. I don't want to say, okay, for Mario's sake, I don't want to say that the fan base is necessarily toxic, but it's not necessarily like the cleanest fan base ever. But granted, what fan base really is that good? All fandoms have someone or quite a few people who need to take their things and get the crap out. Every fandom has this, but from my perspective, while I like both the games and while I like both game series and both characters, the Sonic fan base is infinitely worse than the Mario fan base. I think even other Sonic fans like myself would agree with that. But despite the fan base, I kind of want Sonic to win, to be honest. I know Mario fans are gonna come at me. Both games they didn't shape my childhood in the sense that like Crash and Spyro did, but they were definitely a good part of my childhood. Both series. My first Sonic game was like Sonic Heroes. While I didn't own the game, I played it quite a bit whenever I got the opportunity to, and I loved that game. Or at least I did at the time. I haven't played it in ages, but when I played it, really liked it, and it got me into the Sonic series, and therefore liking the other games that I played. Mario's the same way. I was aware of Mario for a long time, but there's probably not there was a joke made about this in Super Smash Brothers, but it's actually kind of true if you really think about it. There's probably not a single person in the world who doesn't know who Mario is. Yeah, so that's definitely a thing. So yeah, I don't really know why I'm picking Sonic. I just am. People are probably asking, like, because you like the games more? Maybe. I've played quite a bit of both games, so I can't really say I prefer one over the other there. Although I will say I do like the high-speed gameplay of the Sonic games quite a bit, so that could be it. It's just I like high-speed games. I don't know. Although the Mario Galaxy games are one of my favorite games or some of my favorite games I've ever played. So I will give Mario that. And I do have Mario Maker. That's pretty good. Well, the people who make like the stupidly hard bullcrap levels that have like secret crap that only they know, you guys don't deserve to make these levels. I'm not saying make levels easy, make them hard, but make them like fair hard. One of my first levels, I barely shared my levels, but one of my first levels when I played, it took me a little while to actually like get good at my own level. But I guess it could also be that I'm terrible at video games, but I don't know. A lot of the Mario games that exist I've only really played with friends because they own the games and I don't. I don't own a lot of Mario games, although the games I do own are pretty good. Same with Sonic, although I do have Sonic 06. That game's freaking awful, but I love playing it anyway because it's just it's hilariously bad. It's just one of those things where it's like, yes, okay, is it bad? Oh, heck yeah, it's bad. But, it is possible to enjoy bad things. For example, have you guys seen the first Mortal Kombat movie? It's freaking awful, isn't it? But you guys love it. And I've seen it, and I love it, but it's awful. And then there's a second Mortal Kombat movie. That one can go die in a pit. Anyways, it's kind of the same with Sonic Boom, actually, now that I think about it. I haven't actually played Sonic Boom. I really don't have any intentions to. Although I have seen the cartoon. The cartoon's not that bad. So yeah, anyways, where was I going with this? I don't know. Sorry, I'm messing with my desk. I don't know if I've played more Sonic games than Mario games, and that could be why I'm rooting for Sonic. I don't really have a preference for the characters themselves one way or the other. I don't know. It's just then when I think of this, I just think Sonic. Sure. I don't know. So I don't really know why I prefer Sonic over Mario, but I do, so I am rooting for him. What that entails, we will only see. Be nice to me, please. I have my opinions. You have yours. On a lighter topic, if you are a Mario fan and you don't like the fact that I'm rooting for Sonic, then you'll probably like the fact that I think Mario wins. Just in general, my bias aside, I think Mario should win this one. But I know people are like, but Sonic won the last one. Yeah, when was that? 2011. Yeah. I do wish the Sonic series had more, like, interesting matchups where they could win them. Because, like, Metal Sonic vs. Zero was a thing, and, while it's an interesting matchup, Metal Sonic got absolutely wrecked. Amy versus Ramona. Amy won that. I'm cool with that, but I just don't really care for the idea of the matchup. Mewtwo versus Shadow, even though I was rooting for Mewtwo. I do like the matchup, but Shadow just couldn't win. It's the same thing here. It's like, this matchup is a classic. Like, it's kind of the matchup you really need to look at least a little bit when you're getting into versus debating. Like, this is the one that would get you into versus debating. With that said, while I do prefer Sonic, and I am definitely rooting for him, even though I don't really have anything against Mario, I think Mario should win this one. Will he? I don't know. But I'm... from my point of view, it's either my preferred character wins, or they get it right. I love it when stuff like that happens. Actually, the last time that happened, my preferred character won, and that was Ryu versus Jin. Right? Yeah. Because I'm a bit iffy on Carnage versus Lucy. So yeah. Maybe my luck will continue to... Maybe luck will strike once again, and Sonic will win. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't really know what else I can say. I feel like there's so much I could say, but I don't know what it is. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say. So, thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you all later. I'm gonna go do what my phone alarmed me to do. Bye, everybody.